Hi, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Barrett.
And we are Bionic Fitness.
Are you stuck working from home because of COVID-19?
Yeah.
So are we.
Today we're going to go through your home office and talk about desk ergonomics and how to set them up so that you're optimally positioned.
Okay.
So Barrett is working away at home and he's probably in this kind of a position, right? His head is forward, his shoulders are rolled, he's got a curved back, he's really low, his hips are really tight, right? So we're gonna go from the bottom and go up his spine to try and correct some of these positions, right? Barrett's a really tall guy, which means that his knees are a lot higher than his hips are, right? What this does is it keeps a reduced angle and a shortened hip flexor in his hips, right? When he sat there for 8 to 12 or 14 hours per day, that's going to tighten up. His body's going to match the tension and create tightness to those hips. This is why a lot of people have an anterior pelvic tilt who sit at a desk, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get Barrett to raise that seat up as much as he can. We are tall guys. We could probably do a little higher for Barrett, but that's as high as our chair goes today. That's okay. But we're going to take a look now and see that his hip is a little more open, but because he's got this sag through the lower back and an anterior pelvic tilt, he's still a little kinked through the hips. So what we're going to get him to do is lean back just a tiny little bit and engage his abs, and all of a sudden his spine is nice and neutral. His abs are assisting in his lower back muscles to support that spine, but also his hips are a lot more open and the hip flexors are a little more lengthened, which is what we want, right? The next thing we're going to look at is when he's mousing and keyboarding, you can see that his hands are a lot lower than his elbows are, right? Because of the weight that happens in his arm, it's going to pull his shoulders forward, especially after a long period of time at his desk where he gets tired and his back lets go and releases. He's going to end up rolling through the shoulders forward, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take his keyboard and his mouse, we're going to raise them up. For us, it's going to be on desktop, which maybe is not the most convenient thing, but we're talking about what's healthy for your body. You can kind of adjust your station the way that you like. But now we can see that Barrett's hands are about the same height as his shoulders. He's rolled forward into the desk just a little bit so that he can pull his shoulders back into place, right? So now we've got nice open hips. We've got a good flat neutral back supported by abs. We've got a bit of shoulder retraction and everything is really nice and set up here. The last thing we want to look at, though, is that our screen here is pretty low. And because of that, Barrett's looking downwards at that screen. When he looks downwards, his head falls forward, right? And this creates tension through the cervical spine, and this is not great, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to raise that monitor up. So I'll lift it up. Barrett's got some textbooks handy that we can raise that monitor up with. Perfect. And we're going to adjust it so we can see. Now, if you take a look, Barrett's eye line right here is about mid-screen, right? So if he looks at the top or the bottom of the screen, his head and face is pretty neutral, and he's able to keep his head nice and in line, right? He's going to be conscious not to get his face closer to the monitor while he's looking at it. He's going to retract that head. How does it feel, Barrett?
Much better.
Yeah, pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Right. His back muscles and his shoulder muscles are no longer going to be gripping for a long period of time to pull him back into position. They're going to relax and let go because he's nice and stacked and supporting his own body, right? When you're stuck at home and working at a desk, it's really important to make sure you're comfortable and that your body is nice and open. Another thing that I like to encourage is fidgeting, right? So what I mean when I say fidget is I'm going to get Barrett to drop one knee. And he's going to work like this for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Maybe have a little pillow under his knee if he likes. But what that's doing is it's opening up that hip flexor. It's giving that hip a chance to elongate and open so it doesn't stay tight, right? After about 10, 15 minutes, maybe he'll switch to the other side. Some people like to cross their legs. Just move around a little bit also. I especially encourage you to stand up, get some water, which is great for you anyway. Go to the bathroom. Stand up as much as you can. Take little breaks to just keep things moving and open so that they're not staying closed for long periods of time, right?
A lot of people too like to keep their hands rested either on their keyboard or on their mouse when they're reading or when you're scanning a document. I'd say try and keep those down, try and keep that relaxed, try and open those shoulders up as you do this. You don't don't need to keep everything in place as much. That'll help release that tension in your shoulders and help reduce that shortening of muscles as well.
If you wear glasses or contacts, I really encourage you to wear those, because what we don't want is for you to not be able to see something and get closer to be able to see it. Or if you have one eye, like I do, that's a little better than the other, what's naturally going to happen without you realizing it is that you're going to turn your head one way because the eye that's not as great is trying to get forward to focus also. That torsion, again, holding that position for a long period of time with head dumping can be really problematic too, right? Everybody's body is a little bit different. Everybody's home setup and work is a little bit different too, so find what works for you, but these are some nice little keys that'll help you to feel more comfortable at home and stay less tight.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Try and keep moving, like Brandon says. Every hour or so, stand up, move around, get a little drink of water, like he said. That's going to help a lot.
Use your alarm. People get really entrenched in their work and they get really focused. Put an alarm on, and once that alarm goes up, stand up and move around a little bit. Yeah.
So happy working, guys. Try and stay active. Try and stay mobile. And
don't get COVID-19.
Wash your hands and stay safe.
All right.